Hello, this is Dr. Stanley Lang, and welcome to this broadcast. This is a continuation of a series that I am doing on whole person health. And one time I might focus on physical health, others emotional or spiritual health. And the message today that I wanted to focus on is yes, exercise does make a difference. And so, how much of a difference do you think exercise makes? Is it the breaking thing, the cornerstone, or sort of an add-on that makes a difference? So the context for this is the model of whole person health, health of body, mind, and spirit. And part of the goal of approaching health in this way is to decrease stress, because chronic stress is the big cause of aggravating every major disease that we have, and causes a lot of them too, and predisposes us to multiple diseases. So when we can do things that decrease chronic stress, we are having a major impact on our health. And so from a physical perspective, the question of how important actually is exercise, how big of a difference does it make? Now, obviously, you've been hearing for years that exercise is important, but how important? And can we actually prove that it makes a difference? And can we see that difference happening in somebody who does and does not exercise? I'd like to share a story of a patient that I saw recently who had successfully controlled but not completely reversed his diabetes by using the low glycemic eating plan and a particular exercise program that I had prescribed for him. And he had gotten his blood sugar down into the normal range and had been there successfully for several months. But because of some events in his life, particularly an increase in chronic stress, he started to see a little bit of a bump in his blood sugars and wasn't quite sure what that meant, got a little bit discouraged, and basically let the stressful circumstances in his life overwhelm him, and he stopped exercising. And he freely admitted when we got together that he just stopped. It wasn't that he was not possible for him to exercise, he just stopped because he didn't enjoy it anyway, as many people don't. But what we were seeing were two very important things. The average blood sugar test was still within normal limits, but his most recent fasting blood sugar was well above where it had been at its best and well above target, even for looking for good control of diabetes. So the average blood sugar test was lagging behind the spot sugar test, which showed he's already not even in good control anymore. Best case, you could call this as fair control. And if he doesn't make a big change, he's going to be overtly diabetic again. And during this whole time, he was still eating very well. And this is confirmed by a spouse who confirmed that he was eating well. And I had some other blood work that proved to me that he was not falling off the diet. He simply had stopped exercising. And so what's going on here? Well, first of all, when you stop exercising and you're over 60, you start losing muscle in less than 1 week. Now, that's very, very important for anybody that's over 60, but even between age 50 and 60, you're already losing muscle pretty quickly. If you take more than a couple of weeks off, you're losing muscle in the 50 to 60 age group. So what happens when you lose muscle? Well, part of the body's system for fixing insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome is that you need to build more muscle out, because most people have lost a lot of muscle, and the muscle fibers are the main places where there are receptors for the insulin. So if those muscle fibers are shrinking away, the receptor sites are shrinking away, the body becomes more resistant to its own insulin again, and there's no way you're going to reverse diabetes in that setting or successfully lose weight. And so it's crucial that the exercise is part of the routine. And if it's not, I can guarantee you, number one, you will not sustain weight loss. You might successfully lose a lot of weight, but you won't sustain it. And number two, there's absolutely no chance of reversing diabetes without a substantial exercise program. Now, that doesn't mean hours a day in the gym. It means smart but substantial exercise program. And this is a great example of how exercise, or the lack of it, started to allow this person's chemistry to drift in the wrong direction, even when he continued to eat correctly. So if you're not exercising on a regular basis, there's no way that your chemistry is moving in the right direction. It's just going in the wrong direction at a slower pace. And the other part of this is that chronic stress will aggravate the whole problem, because it causes an increase in cortisol production, which is a steroid hormone that causes the blood sugar to rise. And the one of the most powerful ways to mitigate the effects of chronic stress is exercise. Now, how that works in the brain, we don't really know, but that it works, there's no question about it. It's the most powerful thing that you can do to decrease the effect of chronic stress on your body, to control depression, to control anxiety. It's the most powerful thing that you can do. Now, there's a bunch of other things that you should do too, but it's the most powerful thing, as long as you're doing it correctly. So I hope you take to heart the absolute need for a regular exercise program if you want to be healthy. There's no other path that doesn't include exercise. So I wish you well, God's blessing, and have a great day.